Football fam, welcome back. It's time for week 12 QB watch party. Been getting down to the end of the season. Every game matters from here on out for most teams. And for some teams, none of the games matter. Well, this week we got 3 matchups for you. First up, we're going to go into the Big Ten to spotlight a matchup between 2 future Sunday guys. UCLA's Nico Alamanyava and Ohio State's Julian Sayin. Let's talk about Nico. On the season, Nico has 1,659 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions with a QBR of 64.9, good enough for 56 in the nation. His best stretch of games came in a 3-game winning streak where they defeated a then-ranked number 7 Penn State, Michigan State, and Maryland. During that stretch of games, Nico combined for 567 passing yards with 6 touchdowns and 156 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. Nico has struggled with protection issues this season from the Bruins, whether it's from protection issues with the offensive line, or just offensive line have issues finding a rush, or just giving out on the pass rush. This weekend, Nico will be taking on number 1 Ohio State, a loaded defense featuring middle linebacker Arvell Reese, edge Keanu Jackson, and safety Caleb Downs, just to name a few of those monsters on their defense. Ohio State has the number 1 ranked defense in the country, allowing 211 yards per game. Number 2 ranked pass defense, allowing 128.7 yards per game. To top things off, Ohio State has the number 1 scoring defense in the country, only surrendering 7.2 points per game. All I can say is good luck, Nico. Now, let's talk about the starting QB for the Ohio State Buckeyes. That'll be Julian Sayin, sophomore quarterback from California who originally committed to Alabama before transferring to Ohio State after the retirement of former head coach Nick Saban. Sayin has been outstanding this season. His first season as the starter, he has 2,491 passing yards with 24 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, with a QBR of 91.1, which currently is tops in the nation. During his last 3 games of the season against Wisconsin, Penn State, and Purdue, Sayin has a combined 1,012 passing yards with 9 touchdowns and 1 interception, with arguably the best wide receiver duo in the nation with Jeremiah Smith and Cardell Tate, at the very least top 3 if you want to include USC's Malachi Lemon and Jacoby Lane, and maybe Texas A&M, Casey Concepcion, and Mario Craver. They're definitely in the top 3. No arguments there. Since the matchup against Texas on August 30th, Sayin has been carving up defenses on a weekly basis. Looking at UCLA, their total defense is ranked 77th. They're allowing 377 yards per game. Their pass defense is ranked 26, allowing 185.6 yards per game. And they're allowing 30.6 points per game, which ranks 111th in the nation. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, look out for Julian Sayin to feast this weekend. All right, for this next battle, we're looking at going into the Big 12 with TCU's Josh Hoover and BYU's Bear Bachmeier. Let's look at first the home QB, Bear Bachmeier. The freshman has 1,881 yards, 12 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in the passing game. But you can tack on an extra 420 yards for his rushing and 9 touchdowns on top of that to give him a total of 2,301 yards, 21 total touchdowns with a QBR of 77.1, good enough for 21st in the nation. Very impressive. Over the last 3 games, BYU has faced some tough competition against a thin ranked 23 ranked Utah squad, and they had road games against Iowa and a then ranked 8th Texas Tech. In those games, BYU went 2-1, and Bear has a combined 786 yards with 7 touchdowns and 1 interception in those 3 games. Bear, we've been facing a TCU defense that ranks 65th, allowing 365 yards per game. Their pass defense is very poor. It's ranked 102 in the nation. They're allowing 241.6 yards per game, but his scoring defense ranks 76, allowing 24.5 points per game. As an added bonus, because of Bears' rushing ability, we take a look at TCU's rush defense, which ranks 35th in the nation, allowing 135 yards per game. Against QBs that can run, extend plays as a team, TCU has struggled. Against Arizona State and quarterback Sam Levitt, they gave up 62 rushing yards to the quarterback, ended up losing the game 27-24. He had timely runs on third down. And against Kansas State and quarterback Avery Johnson, they gave up him 29 rushing yards, but sack yardage helped keep that total low. But Johnson had a good game running the ball, and he also did great extended plays, which helped Kansas State end up winning that game with a final score of 41-28. Bear might be more dangerous than both those quarterbacks, so his extended playability and on the run is top tier. As for his counterpart, Josh Hoover, his damage is exclusively done through the air. Hoover has 2,690 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, with a QBR of 72.7, good enough for 27th in the nation. No stranger to a shootout. Hoover and TCU have 5 games with over 35 points or more. Hoover has a 5-touchdown game against SMU, a 4-touchdown game against Colorado, a 4-touchdown game against Aberdeen Christian, and a 3-touchdown game against Baylor and Kansas State. This is Hoover's third feature on QB Watch Party, matching the same output as Fernando Mendoza in that regard. Josh Hoover will be facing the BYU defense that ranks 33rd, allowing 192 yards per game, and 31st in total defense. They have 323 yards per game on their defense. Josh Hoover has shown the ability to pass and score on just about anyone. BYU's scoring defense, however, is 16th in the nation, allowing 18.3 points per game. Hoover is a very dependable quarterback when it comes to moving the ball through the air. His questionable attribute is his decision-making. If he can control that, TCU and BYU will be a very interesting game with Big 12 championship and playoff implications on the line. Our final matchup is between ACC's team Pittsburgh and quarterback Mason Heichel and Notre Dame's quarterback CJ Carr. A very important game for both QBs and both programs this weekend. Since taking over as the starter, the 6'2", 215-pound freshman quarterback Mason Heichel from Oregon, Ohio, has 1,547 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, with a QBR of 71.0, good enough for 33rd in the nation. Pitt has looked like a different team since the insertion of Mason as a starting quarterback, with victories over a then-ranked Florida State team, 34-31. They throttled Syracuse 30-13 and won a shootout against NC State 53-34. Mason has 4 games with over 300 yards passing, with a 420-yard passing game against NC State. Not known for his rushing ability, Mason will still take off and run for whatever the defense is willing to give him. Mason will be facing a Notre Dame defense that's ranked 45th in the nation in total defense, allowing 335 yards per game. Pretty high number from Notre Dame, in my opinion. Notre Dame's defense ranks 88th against the pass, and a scoring defense ranked 18th, allowing 18.78 points per game. Mason will have his work cut off on, but this is doable. Speaking of Notre Dame, their quarterback, CJ Carr, is one of the top quarterbacks in the country. His play has grown week after week after week. CJ has 2,275 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, with a QBR of 83.3, good enough for 10th in the nation. After losing his first 2 starts of the season, CJ has won 8 straight as the starter for the Fighting Irish. His best 2 games came on the road against Arkansas, 22 for 30, 354 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and a home game against NC State, where he went 19 for 31, 342 yards, and 2 touchdowns. CJ is a redshirt freshman who had to learn early and fast as he came out the gate against 2 ranked teams. In those 2 games, CJ had stats of 19 for 30, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns with 1 interception. plus another rushing touchdown against Miami. They ended up losing the game by 3. Against Texas A&M, the next opponent, CJ had 20 for 32, 293 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and lost the game by 1 point. CJ, we've been going against a Pittsburgh defense ranked 94th in pass defense, allowing 237.4 yards per game. They rank 42nd in scoring defense at 21.78 points per game, and 25th in total defense, allowing 318.3 points per game. This should be interesting. CJ and Mason should have pretty solid games this weekend. And with that, there you have it. There's your Week 12 QB watch party. 3 games that you need to have your eye on. Let's recap. Let's look at the Big Ten, UCLA and Ohio State quarterbacks Nico Alamanyava and Julian Sayin. Go down to the Big 12 and watch the matchup between Josh Hoover and Bear Buckmeyer. That's TCU and BYU. And then early morning tip, or early morning kickoff, excuse me. You got CJ Carr, Notre Dame, taking on Mason Heichel and Pittsburgh Panthers. Should be an interesting game right there. A lot of playoff implications, the ACC championship stuff on the line in that one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Come back and check us out again next week as we drop another QB watch party.